Hello, Mr. Conway.
Hello, Theodore.
Anne says Tony Morgan asked you to investigate his daughter's disappearance.
That's right, but I'm sure she's also told you that it's merely a formality.
I was just telling Mr. Conway he's wasting his time, because we don't know anything about it.
Aren't you retired, Mr. Conway?
Well, I'm not here officially, Mr. McKee, just as a friend of Tony Morgan's. But I do appreciate you making the time.
Well, like Anne said, we had nothing to do with Charlotte May, so I don't know how I could help. And I don't have long, I'm afraid. Mr. Levy isn't very happy with me stepping out of work.
I appreciate it all the same.
Well, shall we move into the living room?
Of course. Please, after you.
I'll be with you in a moment.
Now, please, I'd like to know what you were doing at the time of the attack, if you wouldn't mind. Maybe start at 10 p.m.
10 p.m.? Well, I was at a gig that night, so I was playing down at the Sugar Ducks men's club. Harold, my boss, hasn't paid me for a few months, so I've had to start making money elsewhere. I remember I got home around 10:40, I think. I went straight into my music room. I had a song in my head I just had to get out. So nothing to do with Charlotte May.
The Sugar Dogs. That's about a 20-minute walk from here, if I'm correct.
Something like that? Yes.
And what time did you finish your performance?
About just after 10.
And then you returned home.
Yes.
Did you drive?
No, I walked.
You just said you returned home at 10:40, did you not? If it takes 20 minutes to walk, then what, might I ask, were you doing with the extra 20 minutes?
Have you ever performed, Mr. Conway?
No, I'm not a very musical person, I'm afraid.
Well, there's a lot of equipment at a show. Microphones, guitars, cables. It all takes time to pack down.
Mallets?
Excuse me?
A mallet. Whatever it is that the drummer uses.
You mean drumsticks?
Sticks, huh? You'll forgive me. I really don't know a great deal about it.
Well, like I said, it all takes time.
Sounds reasonable enough to me. Where were we? Yes, you were saying you'd entered your music room.
Anyway, I think I was in my music room all the way up until...
I'll be with you both in a second. Don't wait for me.
Okay, my love. I was in my room until Anne called me out. She heard a smash or something. Anne was visiting a friend that night, but I think she was back just before me. And I think she was in her bedroom. So, by all accounts, she's the one who heard it.
You didn't hear the smash yourself?
No, there aren't any windows in my music room, and I was writing a song at my piano.
So Annabelle heard it and came in to get you?
Mm-hmm.
You say you heard a smash or something. Could you think back and tell me exactly what happened?
Anne came in. She said, something's going on outside, that I should take a look. That was when I realized she was home, and...
And that's when you came out and looked?
That's right.
And you say you didn't know Annabelle was home yet?
Like I said, I couldn't hear anything. What with my music.
So she could have been home longer?
I suppose, but I don't think she was.
And what did you see once you were outside?
Tony Morgan, laying on the floor. All our neighbors taking a look. Then the police came.
Nothing else? Not Charlotte May, not the kidnapper?
I spoke to you briefly.
Fair enough. Please, as you were saying.
So anyway, it couldn't have been Anne or me, you see, because we weren't here most of the night. And in any case, the Sugar Ducks are a good 20-minute walk away. People would have noticed if I was missing from my gig, wouldn't you think? I'm sorry. I'm confused. Is this all you want to know? What I was doing that night? Nothing else?
You say it couldn't have been Annabelle.
No. She was out of town that night. She'd already paid for her tram ticket, so I said I didn't mind.
Really? And she used the tram ticket?
I don't understand.
You say she was out of town for most of the night. Could she have been here longer than you thought?
Anne didn't have anything to do with Charlotte May.
Well, anything is possible.
No. I'm sorry, it's not. You don't know Anne.
So she's not capable of such a thing. Is she capable of deceiving you?
That's my wife you're talking about. I'm not answering that.
You're right. I apologize. I've overstepped my bounds. I promise you I meant nothing by it. I have to ask these things for Tony Morgan, but if you say that's not her, then I trust you, Theodore.
It's fine.
Please, if you don't mind, could you continue with the night's events?
Sorry about that. I was making sure that things were, where we left them.
I was just saying that Mr. Conway is wasting his time because we were both out of town for most of the night. Isn't that right, my love? You were at a friend's, weren't you? You already paid for a tram ticket. That's why you couldn't come to the gig.
Well, actually, Theo, I wanted to talk to you about that, but it can wait till later.
Talk to me about what? Tell him you're out of town.
Don't you have to get back to work?
Actually, I think I do have to go, Mr. Conway. I'm sorry I couldn't be more help. You'll excuse me.
Thank you for your time, Theodore. You were out of town for most of the night, were you? Did the tram conductor forget to stamp your ticket? I'm curious.
Mr. Conway, I think you've more than outstayed your welcome. I don't know why I agreed to talk to you in the first place. You must think me awfully dense if you think I don't know what you were doing while I was gone. I don't want to see or hear from you again. Do you understand? This is a job for the police, not some old has-been playing detective.
Playing? You think this is a game? Well, you'll forgive me if I don't see the fun side to abducting a small child and bludgeoning her to death with a mallet.
Get out, now.
I think that went as well as could have been expected.
From talking to the McKees, it seems apparent that they were both in Dahlia View at the time Charlotte May was taken. Annabelle and Theo were clearly hiding something. I observed them getting rid of a rolled-up rug and saw Theo use a mallet for God only knows what. I can't currently prove it relates to Charlotte May, and a few questions still remain.
£45 is a large sum. In my experience, the kind of money made on the black market. Theo doesn't seem like someone driven by greed, so what possible motive could compel him to kidnap and sell a young girl? I'm positive that Charlotte May was in that pantry, but can I prove the mallet was used to hit something living? Good, I was right. Now, on to the next.
Oh, that's it. The mallet must have been used to hit something living. The crystallization proves it. Then they carried it down to the boot of a car. The only possible motive I can see is that Theo needed money to pay for his mother's medication. A life for a life. Could Theo really be that cold? I got the impression that Annabelle was in charge. It's not enough. I can't accuse them without something solid. I'll have to keep an eye on the McKees and continue my investigation.
Hi, Dad. Dad? I think we need a little chat about your neighbours. The McKees?
Damn, I can't let her see this after I made a promise.
Now, why is this door closed? Dad, are you back there?
Perhaps I should just come out with it. I don't know.
Hello? No, it's his daughter. I'm afraid not. He must be out. I don't. I'm sorry, but... Right. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, but... Good day to you too. Right.
I can't stop now. Not after what I've seen. I'll just have to make sure I find something that Catherine can use in her investigation. It's the only way she'll understand. I've spent the morning watching the McKees, waiting for them to make a mistake, to do something that proves them guilty of killing Charlotte May. But what if I'm wrong? What if I saw what I wanted to and there was nothing in that rug? If I had hard evidence, I would have told Catherine already. I have nothing but suspicions. I should be looking at everyone in Dahlia View. And Harold Levy is next on my list. Harold is a large man, large enough to carry a little girl and not slow him down.
Back in a bit, yeah? Don't mess up the paintwork.
I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, right.
It appears Harold keeps his keys on the wall in his kitchen. Good to know. Why on earth is there a shoe on Harold Levy's roof? Wonders never cease. Theo is working on the automobile I saw him put the rug into. I still have my eye on you. There's mail just inside the hallway. I can't tell whether it's been opened or not. Might be important. Annabelle. I can't shake what I saw in your pantry. But for now, Harold is my focus. Evicted already. That was fast. Harold must have forced them out. The hotel guests must have read the paper. They're just as suspicious as I am. There appears to be a box of some importance under Harold's bed. Whatever it contains, he's not happy about it.
Theo, I need to step out for a moment. You alright watching the shop, yeah?
Okay.
Harold Levy is unlocking Tony Morgan's door. Now he's entering. What is he thinking? This does not look like a social visit. What in God's name is he doing? He's attacking Mr. Morgan. I should call the police. No. I should gather evidence. He's furious now. Mr. Morgan looks petrified. Did Harold take Charlotte May? Did he attack Tony the night she was taken? I've never seen him like this.
Jesus.
You okay, boss?
Yeah.
You sure?
I said I'm fine.
Okay.
I have to do something. I doubt Harold will welcome me in the way the McKees did, but if he can enter another man's home unannounced, well then so can I. Harold Levy is leaving his flat. My patience has paid off. Oh, the place seems empty enough. Now to find a way into Levy's garage. I'd better get inside before one of my neighbors sees me. What is that smell? Damp, I think. Toys. Why does Harold Levy have them? Mr. Levy? Is anyone home? Good. Harold Levy has a lady friend. This is where I watched Harold from my window. I hope none of my neighbors are watching me. Someone's showering. I'd better be quiet. It might be important. You never know. He must have moved the box somewhere else. Finally, time to take a look inside. Might make a good lockpick. I'm curious to see what was left in his office. Now then, let's see what's been left in Levy's office. It must have something to do with him attacking Mr. Morgan. There's Levy's office. It looks like he's still out of the building. That smell again. The damp is even stronger in here. Now, what's this? Wouldn't happen to be what caused the flood, would it? Levy, please don't have taken Charlotte May.
Hello? Yeah, I'm on it. He's coming here. No, I'll sort it out. No, all right, fine. Bollocks.
He's left the office door open, but now I'm stuck in here. Oh, this is definitely the car that Theo dumped the rug into. Charlotte, please don't be inside. I wouldn't trust you as far as I could throw you. These all seem to be powered from here. So the fuse for the shutters is blown in the basement. Good to know. Ah! Oh, dear God. I must be doing something right. What in God's name? Why is there a hole in the ground and a chain going into it? Charlotte, are you down there? I must be doing something with oils here. Nothing to do with Charlotte May. Charlotte, please don't be in there. This might come in handy. Explains the damp smell. The water's far too deep to wade through. I'm going to need to hurry. The fuse is blown. Right. Time to open those shutters and get back to the office. Good. Now to get back to the office. This is a delivery van. Shirley Downs warned me about Harold's late-night deliveries. The threat in the box said there was something in this office. Perhaps something for my evidence board. They're both as bad as each other. Could be useful. Petrol. Not what I was expecting. I'm sure Harold knows why this is so damning. Did Tony Morgan take this? Is that why Harold attacked him? Harold's basement is far more vast than I thought. Charlotte, you down there? The pump is set to clear the basement of water. What's this? I wonder if I can knock it down. Well, I'm too close to stop now. Now, what's this? It's working. And quickly, too. Damn if it's not loud. Charlotte, if you're down there, I will find you. Charlotte, are you down there? What on earth is all this? Cigarettes. It's heavy. Dear God. Please let me be wrong. Please don't be you. It's her. It has to be. I'm too late. What? Chemicals? I don't understand. Why? Did Harold Levy drug Charlotte May? There was a rag found at the crime scene. Is this what was on it? There's no way he would flood his own basement unless he was scared of the police searching it. I need my evidence board. This is far too damning to ignore.
So, you're gonna tell me what you're doing in my garage? Or am I gonna have to evict you too?
Mr. Levy, I was just about to...
Save it. What were you doing in there? Did you find what you were looking for, did you?
Actually, I was looking for you. As soon as I realized you were at home, I came straight out to find you. You can rest assured.
What is it you want, Mr. Conway?
Well, I wanted to talk with you about Charlotte May's disappearance.
Really?
If you're not too troubled to help.
Why the hell would I waste my time talking to you?
Will you answer some of my questions or not?
So it's an interrogation then?
It's me asking you to help Tony Morgan find his missing daughter. Surely you want to help.
Fine. I'll humor you. What do you want?
A statement is all. Where you were the night that Charlotte May was taken. What you were doing, with whom you spoke. That kind of thing.
A statement, you say? Where do you want me to begin?
Tell me, if you would, what you did between 10 p.m. and 11 p.m. just before Charlotte May was taken.
Well, I was in my flat for most of the night, except for about 10 o'clock. I went across to the courtyard and locked up the front gate. You know, to keep the wrong kind of person out. Sometime after that, I heard a noise. Sounded like something strange, but I didn't know what. I guess we all know now, but didn't think much of it at the time.
You're sure you heard a noise at 10 p.m., no later?
A little later, maybe. I was up in my flat by then.
How much later?
Couldn't say.
And what do you think the noise was?
Well, we know what it was, Mr. Conway. A little girl screaming.
You actually heard her scream?
Maybe. Why? Are you trying to catch me out?
I'm trying to understand what you're telling me. I myself did not hear her. Neither did the McKees.
What's your point?
Well, either you heard her and did nothing, or you're mistaken.
Well, maybe I'm thinking of something else then.
You were saying?
Anyway, after about 10 or something, I went up to my flat and made a cup of tea and a sandwich. Corned beef and onion, if I remember. Then about 10:15, I ate it. I hope this is the kind of information you were looking for. I was alone all night, so didn't do anything riveting, I'm sorry to say.
Mr. Levy, I think you know the kind of information I'm looking for.
I ain't a mind reader, Mr. Conway.
Could you please try and keep on the topic of Charlotte May?
I thought you wanted to know about me, what I was doing that night.
Yes, of course, but within the context of her disappearance, if you would.
Well, I had nothing to do with that, so you'll have to listen to whatever I tell you or nothing at all.
Okay. That's fine.
Can I carry on now?
Yes, please continue.
Anyway, around about 10:30, I was sat upstairs listening to my radio show, Kings in the Nile. I had no idea what was going on outside, right under everyone's noses. Scary, ain't it? How you could be stood right next to someone capable of that, and you'd never know until it was too late.
It's disturbing, isn't it? Knowing what happened, and so close to your home at that.
Yeah, very disturbing.
Well, you don't seem very affected by it. You'll forgive me for saying.
Will I? What are you saying? That I did it? That I'm capable of doing it because I ain't all broken up on the outside?
I think it's strange when people don't act the way that others expect they will. It makes people feel uneasy.
Am I making you feel uneasy now?
I think that it would be nice to know where you stand on what happened to Mr. Morgan and Charlotte May.
I did time as a young lad. I seen some stuff that'd make you crawl up into a little ball and stay there. So boo-hoo if some guy got a little knock over the head. It's a shame about that girl. It really is. But I've seen worse.
Well, that may be so, but it doesn't excuse the way you act around others. I've seen things too. Horrific things.
Like what?
Well, as a private investigator...
You know what? Forget it. I don't care. Shall I carry on now?
Please, do.
I wish there was more I could tell you. I really do. Must have been about 10:40 to 10:50. I nodded off for a bit, because my mind's a little fuzzy on the details. The newspaper said something about the kidnapper having a key or sneaking in undetected. I think it's a load of old bollocks. And in any case, if I ever did see someone sneaking around here, they wouldn't be walking out, I can tell you. No offense.
I'm curious. How could the kidnapper have come to be in the possession of a key?
Now, I've been thinking about that, and there's a lot of ways someone could have got around it, if they were so inclined.
Please, elaborate.
They could have stolen a key. Maybe they did it before and then locked the gate. Maybe they got a key copied weeks ago and then returned the original.
You have put a lot of thought into that, haven't you?
I've known some types in my time. You'd be amazed how resourceful some folk can be.
Resourceful, deceitful. It's a fine line to tread.
No disagreement there.
Right. Well, please, continue.
Regardless of all that, I'll tell you what I did here that night. The smash. About 11, I'd say. That little girl must have kicked up a right old fuss. God knows how we didn't hear. That's when I turned on my floodlight. I looked out my window. I saw Mr. Morgan. Right there, laying in a puddle of his own blood. It's a wonder he didn't bleed out. I must have just missed who did it. I tell you, that blood ain't coming out my clothes anytime soon.
You're sure it was Charlotte May who caused the smash?
Who else would it have been?
And you're sure it was at 11?
About then, yeah.
It's a long time after the first noise at 10, wouldn't you say? Almost an hour by your account.
Yeah, I suppose.
Doesn't it seem a little strange to you?
All of this is strange to me, Mr. Conway. This is Dahlia View. Things like this don't happen here.
Until now.
Until now. Other than that, I don't know what more I can say. We all get what's coming to us, don't we? Anyhow, what if it was me? What are you going to do about it?
Well,
For a start, I would have...
Maybe I did do it. Oh, maybe you did it. You could be wasting time questioning me to cover your own back. That would be a funny old turn, wouldn't it?
I have to say, Mr. Levy, we've not spoken this much before, and I find you strangely heartless considering the circumstances. I'd imagined you'd feel a little more sympathy for your neighbor and his missing daughter. You say you had nothing to do with it, but I can't help but think...
Go on.
I think you're hiding something. Something to do with Charlotte May. And when this is all said and done, Mr. Morgan will know who helped and who stood in the way of my investigation. I hope to God you had nothing to do with it.
Listen to me. You think you got problems now being in that chair. You keep this kind of thing up, you're going to end up hurt. Or worse.
Is that a threat, Mr. Levy?
A warning's what it is.
Well, consider me warned.
It's late, Mr. Conway. Piss off.
During our conversation, Harold Levy was imposing, attempting to intimidate me. It's clear the man does not like me, and the feeling is mutual. I'm certain he's up to no good, and I suspect it has something to do with Charlotte May. The chemicals I found appear to match the crime scene, no question there. There are, however, some things that still remain unanswered. Harold said he was listening to Kings of the Nile in his flat at 10:50, whilst Charlotte May was being taken. But can I disprove his alibi? A threatening note in Harold Levy's flat seemed to provoke his attack on Tony Morgan. Is this related to Charlotte May? The note accused Harold of illegal activities, but what evidence here proves it? So, Harold lied to me about his alibi. There was no way he could have been listening to Kings of the Nile on his broken radio. The stolen cars are worrying indeed, but don't seem to be related to Charlotte May. The chloroform-like chemical I found is my only real lead. He must have hidden those bottles for a reason. Ultimately, this is all conjecture. I can't prove he's taken Charlotte May.
Dad? Why's the door locked? Can you let me in, please? I want to talk to you about something.
Sorry. Give me a moment.
Dad, I'm waiting. Why was the bolt on?
Well, what with everything, one can't be too careful.
Fair enough.
What did you want to talk about?
I've just come back from having a very interesting conversation with your landlord.
Harold Levy, really?
What do you suppose he wanted to talk to me about?
Well, actually, Catherine, I wanted to talk to you about that.
So he was telling the truth. You know, he was so close to pressing charges, and it's not my job to talk him out of it. I could have been arresting you right now, or any one of my colleagues, whom I can assure you would not be as nice as me about it.
Why? He seemed fine after I spoke to him.
You trespassed and damaged his property. And don't try to talk your way out of it.
Well, what do you want me to say?
I don't know, to be honest.
Why do you think he didn't press charges? The reason he didn't want the police searching in the first place was because he was hiding what basically amounts to chloroform. The same thing he used to drug Charlotte May. He had a gallon of the stuff.
I know.
Well, so why don't you arrest him?
It's a completely different brand.
Well, have you checked his orders? He might have switched recently.
I have.
Then Why does he have chloroform in the first place?
He uses it to dilute oils. It's a side scam to rip off his customers. You would have known that if you were working on the case, but you're not.
Well, diluting goods is illegal too, surely. Arrest him for that, and you can interrogate him.
And all he'd get is a fine. And that would be the end of it.
I'm sorry, but...
You're not an investigator anymore, Dad. I know you want to help, but trust me, you're not. In fact, you're making my job that much harder.
Catherine, I was merely trying
You made me a promise. From now on, I just want you to honor it.
I can't.
Why not?
I promised Tony Morgan that I would help find Charlotte May.
Of course you did.